Hey guys, welcome to Dazzling Handmade. Today we're making a vintage journal book page, and I'm going to be using a lot of stems, a lot of these background elements I call them. So we'll be making use of them because I have so many. And I'm also going to add a die cut of a violin, which is going to give a very nice detail. So this journal I'm using is just a plain page, no dots, no lines, and I'm gonna start with this musical sheet, and I only want that little square part. So with the vintage photo distress ink, this is what I'm gonna be using mostly throughout this video, and this video is gonna be a little bit long, but there's a lot of details, and I just want to show you how the outcome is for the stamps. If you're interested to see the stamps on their own, I am making videos of each stamp varieties. So I have vintage elements, vintage backgrounds, and it will all be on this channel. I'm also gonna add this piano keyboard because I'm doing kind of like a musical themed, and for this I'm using the black stud. For any black ink you see in here, it'll be this. That one is going on the edge of one page and one on the other side. I'm trying to make it look a little bit worn out, so it doesn't have to be perfectly black. And then I'm also gonna go in with this big piece over here. Same stamp, just a little bit here and there. Throughout the page, it's mostly gonna be stamping, and then detailing. Now going in with iced spruce, is that what it said? These are all just colors that kind of match each other, so it's a bit of a mix of green and gray. Looks very nice because we're trying to make it look kind of rustic, kind of vintage, and whatever ink is left on the stamp, just here and there, dab it. So because this is a new book page, I have to put my fingers underneath to get the inside of it. There you go, very nice. And I like that it's part on this and that page. All right, let's do some bigger ones. I'm gonna go with this one, and for this I added two colors, one darker green and one a little bit like kind of like sage green, and I like to mix it. So here and there with any leftover ink, it'll be very nice with the distress I'm gonna do. And I use another kind of blue, which gives you that rustic blue look. I'm not sure what it is exactly when the rust turns blue. Maybe it's copper, but I don't think so. It's one of those. Sometimes the rust is blue, so I want to give that effect here and there with different kinds of stamps from around the same style of stamps. So this is coloring up most of my page. And then now I'm gonna make it look really old. Just distress it with the same colors I've been using here and there. Going with a little bit of greenish brown on both sides. And then we're also gonna make the edges look old, so it's a little bit older looking. Just going in here and there. This is starting to look really good. A little bit greenish too. And for every color I'm using a different brush, so it doesn't get like too mixed up. Alright, now I know it looks a little bit dirty for now, but it will look very nice at the end, trust me. Okay, so nothing has gone on the other side, and now I'm gonna distress the ends, give it a nice contrast, a little bit of depth of color, and make it look just more intense when you look at it on all the sides. Just like that. Just slightly touching it. And then again with the vintage photo. I think the vintage photo is gonna be my favorite one. So I'm using a outside to inside inward motion to give some aging to the edges of the page. And we're gonna be doing this on all the sides. I'm always putting a paper underneath so it doesn't get the next page dirty, which we'll be reusing very soon. All right, it's starting to come together, looking more worn out, and some of these edges also look like it's been burned a little bit, so just a little interesting. Now going in with a darker brown, just again. Yeah, so now it doesn't look dirty anymore, now it just looks old. And the edges, you can see the kind of like burn marks. I'm gonna do pretty much the same thing with this violin, and then we're also gonna emboss it later. So it's just a vintage photo for start. Brown it, and then the edges. Gonna do the same thing with the edges. Make it a little bit pop out. This will help it to pop out and give it a nice kind of 3D look. Just doing it all the edges and then going inwards again. This will help it to make it look like kind of like a shadow, as if it was really there. Then we also have the bow. The bow's gotta be brown too. And with this die cut, there's also a couple of details that the violin needs, so that's what we're doing now. This one, it's gonna go over here, and of course it's not gonna be white. We're gonna make it black, so it looks like a real violin. And then the strings. Very nice. So I'm done with this part. And now I'm gonna add some details to the violin. Stamping it with a brown color and just adding it to the sides, just to give us a nice coloring. It's not gonna be this strong because we are gonna emboss it. So this was a little bit too much gold on here. I took some off by stamping on the paper, and I just want them right there, so it kind of looks like it's giving it a spot. And then fix that with a little bit darker. It's starting to look very nice. I think violins look so classic when you're doing something vintage. And with the same stamp I use for the design, I'm gonna stamp it with the Versamark and emboss it with the vintage pearl. And I'm using coffee filters because I find that it doesn't stick. The powder never sticks to the coffee filter, so it's really good. I used to use paper, and was not always the best idea. So heat emboss it, and boom, we got a nice old rustic kind of look on this violin. Really good. Now it's time to glue in all the pieces. Art glitter is my go-to glue when gluing anything paper. If you don't know where these violin pieces are supposed to go, Google it. And it'll be right there, because sometimes these die cuts, they come in so many little pieces and you have no idea what goes where. And if you buy a lot at the same time, like I do, I often forget which goes where. I'm not talking about the violin. Sometimes it's a whole picture and it just it gets confusing. I embossed the strings with silver, and now I'm gonna emboss this part a little bit with silver also, using the Versamark pen, just like that, just a little bit, to give it kind of like a rustic shine. This one will go right here, but after the embossing, the edges kind of just disappeared, so I'm going over it again, just a little bit, not too much. Yeah, you don't want to overdo this. That looks really good. Glue it and make sure everything sticks and nothing flickers off. And look at that. Very nice. And we'll also add the bow next to it. The inside, I'm going to color it with a dark brown marker, because these parts kind of just disappeared underneath. It was an empty hole. So there we go. Very nice. All right, let's add some text. Okay, so I'm going in with a pink, pastel pink, and I'm just stamping it here and there again. And we'll also be using this stamp for embossing. I'm gonna emboss the page. Boom, very nice. So you can kind of see it, but not too much. And then Versamark embossing. There you go. The page so far looks very nice. I'm using the vintage pearl again. This is pretty much my go-to when doing something vintage. Vintage pearl, silver, and the gold. And that sage blue. Up here too, and just tilt it into the coffee filter so we don't waste anything. All right, one more over here and down there too, and then just heat emboss it. I needed some more. You can already see some of them just popping out, and it's looking fantastic, I think. There, I needed one over here. And boom, look at that. Oh, very nice. Give it this beautiful shine. Okay, so this is looking very good. I'm also going to be putting in a pocket later. On Amazon, I got these pearl colors, which are beautiful, and they're so hard to find. And with this, I'm just going to tap, 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 tap. Give it a little bit of detailing. And this paint came in the set of 3, so we got different colors too. We got a gold palette. This is the gold palette, and then that's the other one. So we got colorful one, the jam colors, the shiny ones. I'm gonna use this, and gonna do the same thing, just tap on my finger, tap tap, giving it a little bit of splashes here and there. You can see it's shining. Very gorgeous. Nice. And now time to make our pocket. So this is the die cut pocket, and I want to make sure everything is smooth and nothing's sticking out, so this tool is very handy. And then we also have this die cut for papers to make it look like it was ripped apart. It comes in different sizes, and I'm going to do a couple in here. We'll put this over that one. And first I'm just going to add some details. Half brown, half bluish, and a little bit of darker blue. And stamping it here and there. Just some detailing. For the second one, I'm doing half green, half blue, and half pastel pink. And this one is gonna go on the pocket. So we'll make it look a little bit rustic. And I'm also gonna emboss this, so it will look kind of like a rustic metal fence. And then just distressing the papers from the side inwards, from outside to inwards, and also the edges the same way I did for the journal and the violin. And for this one I'm using the blue and a little bit of brown. So it kind of looks like it's been sitting there waiting for you for hundreds of years. Very nice. And for the other one, I'm gonna distress it with a little bit browner instead of blues. Very nice. And just a slight hint of blue. Dark blue, more like a kind of grayish. Yeah, just any color that kind of matches together. And then we'll add a little bit more dark over here, and also the edges. The edges are very important. It will make it pop. Looks very, very nice so far. I'm ready to emboss this. Just making it look a little bit darker. All right, so vintage pearl again. And I heat emboss it, and look at that shine. Beautiful. Glue it right here. And I'm also gonna add some more details over here. Emboss this with silver this time. I love seeing that change. No matter how many times I do embossing, it's always just wows me. And now I can put my little pockets in here. Look at that. So if you want to put a quote on it, or maybe a poem, that'd be very nice, a poem on it. You can just add it right there. And we're pretty much done with this one. I'm very happy. I think it has a lot of details. Has the shine, has this cool effect to it. I really like it. So I know it was a little bit longer video, but there's a lot to show, a lot of stamps, a lot of techniques, a lot of coloring. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you would like to see more, I hope you come back for the next one, because this whole journal is going to be around the same kind of themed Victorian, vintage, Edwardian style. So let me know what you think. I would love to hear your feedback. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a fantastic rest of the day.